I feel you in the wind, I see you in the trees. Everywhere I look, I feel your heartbeat. Majestic mountains high, in every drop of rain. All of this just shows me how much you love me. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your constant care for me. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your endless grace for me. In every drop of dew, the rustling of the leaves, the chirping of the birds, a perfect symphony. Smell of the flowers, the richness of the soil, the sweetness of the fruit that satisfies. I am amazed by the symphony of your creation. I am amazed by your omnipresence. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your endless grace for me. From a firefly to a shooting star, to the song a cricket sings, from the raging seas to the placid lakes, to the bubbling of the stream, from the rays I feel from the rising sun to the stillness of the night. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your constant love for me. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty. I am amazed by your beauty and your bounty.
Beautiful. That's a video of my beloved home province of Antique, where the mountains meet the sea. Pero ngayong araw na ito, sa Stories for a Better Normal, hindi natin pag-uusapan ang Antique muna, pero pag-uusapan natin ang isang issue na nag-a-apply sa ating lahat, ang ating pagkain. Lalo na sa panahon ng pandemic ngayon, mga iba ay, at marami sa atin, may kakulangan sa pagkain. Yung mga iba naman ay nag-iisip, paano ba ang ating bagong normal? Babalik pa ba tayo sa dati? Ano ba yung dati? At ano ba yung tinatawag na new norm or better normal? So welcome to the Stories for a Better Normal. This is the new norm. At itong ating ginawang Zoom and live on Facebook every Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning ay lahat ay galing sa utak, sa puso at sa pang-araw-araw na buhay. Mga storya, mga learnings, mga tinuturo ayon sa batas, ayon sa pag-araw-araw na buhay, ayon sa mga karanasan, experiences of a lot of people. At sa ngayong araw na to, pag-uusapan natin yung slow food. Sabihin nyo, ano ba yan? Ayoko nang mabagal, gusto ko mabilis. Pero sa new norm, sa better normal, napakahalaga ng ating kinakain sa nanggagaling, walang sayang. Kaya ang ating topic, waste not and want not. Anong ibig sabihin na ito? Huwag tayo mag-aksaya. At pag hindi tayo maaksaya, ay hindi tayo mangangailangan. Sabihin nyo, ano bang sinasabi ni Lauren Legarda at ng Climate Change Commission at ng Institute of Climate and Sustainable Cities at ng Mother Earth Foundation? Well, the agencies and institutions I mentioned are the collaborative agencies that we've been working with for all the laws, policies, and micromanage barangay level programs that we've been doing, from sustainable mobility, yung mga nagbibisikleta, hanggang sa permaculture, sa pagtatanim at organic farming, hanggang sa mental health and how to beat anxiety during the pandemic, hanggang sa buwan ng katutubo ng October at marami pang iba. Okay, so let's go straight to what is slow food. And perhaps it would be best for me not to tell you what slow food is, but let our guests, our experts, because they are in the field of slow food, of organic food, perhaps permaculture, like I am, perhaps agriculture, perhaps, and I hope, implementers of my Law Republic Act 9003, ecological solid waste management, also micro and small entrepreneurs, which is my other law, possibly Barangay Kabuhayan Act. We will find out today. So kasama natin ngayong araw na ito ay si Liquid Chef. Bakit kaya siya Liquid Chef Kalel Demetrio? Agimat. Alam natin, maraming tinatawag na agimat. Yun ang tawag sa kanyang foraging bar and restaurant. It's popular in the world of mixology. I will find out what mixology is. Kalel is known as a liquid maestro. He has been in the liquid business for 18 years, and he's been eliminating food waste in the kitchen nung bartender pa siya. At he traveled the country with Chef Robbie Goko, whom we'll also introduce later, to find out more about organic food, and continued traveling and reaching far-flung areas, just like me when I was a young journalist and discovered about food, beverages, and ingredients. Kasama rin natin si Chef Waya Araos Wijanko, Gourmet Gypsy Art Cafe. This is so interesting. Okay, there's some noise there. Maybe it's outside my room, or maybe everyone should be on mute. Okay, thank you. Chef Waya has been in the culinary scene for 20 years. Her previous background, I love this, environment conservation, tourism development, and education. These are the advocacies I embrace, where I conduct my trainings and my Zoom sessions, my speeches, and my loss, and I'm glad to have her here. And it has come full circle. And she manages Gourmet Gypsy Art Cafe and Open Hand School, a vocational school. Great. Sana test the accredited yan so we can send our scholars for young adults with special needs. A staunch advocate for inclusive employment. That's very good. Small enterprise, very good. And the support for local farmers. So parang Chef Waya, it's like they partially describe me, and I'm glad that you do these advocacies. Chef Robbie Gocco of Sima Restaurants, matagal na siya, 25 years, fascinated by creating something out of nothing. That's the positive person. He has been innovating by using the entire animal kingdom. Wow. Sana plant-based or ingredients from nose to tail, from root to seed. I like from root to seed. Okay. Is one of the chefs who popularized farm to table, a pioneer of sustainable and local foods. I like that. He introduced Greek, that's not local, but using Philippine ingredients in the Philippines under the flagship of his restaurant. And he believes that good food is a right and not just a privilege. That's so interesting. Now, magsimula tayo. Ano ba ang foraging? Sige, magsimula tayo ha. Chef Kalel, ano ba yung mixology? Ang alam ko lang ay astrology. Okay, although I know, okay, tell us. So ano yung foraging? Ano ang natuklasan mo sa pag-iikot mo ng Pilipinas kasama ni Chef Robbie? At ano ang masasabi mo tungkol sa slow food that people will understand, implement, and embrace? Okay. Hi. Good morning. Oh, no audio? Okay. If there's no audio, we can go to Chef Waya first. Okay. Climate Change Commission, are you with me? Okay, no audio.
Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
good morning.
Good morning. And good morning to every viewers who stay tuned right now. So and then to all the familiar faces that I've worked, like especially Chef Robbie Gocco. I've worked with Chef Robbie Gocco for the longest time. I treated him as a mentor. So he's the one who really enlightened me this part in like really launching some menu that that can be capitalized using the wait, there's a feedback. All good. So yeah, and then Chef Waya as well. So again, foraging is all about getting ingredients from everything na parang you don't rely actually on groceries and all. So parang sometimes you plant your own. Back in the days kasi everything is foraging kasi there's no grocery, there's no fast food and all. So we tend to create everything on our own. So right now, going back in the modern times, we see the beauty of it. Kasi nakikita natin na parang it's unadulterated. All the ingredients that we get in nature, medyo alam mo yung quality kasi ikaw mismo yung nagtanim and all. So the beauty of that one is from scratch, nakikita mo yung mga possibility. Unlike, for example, you're like getting something in the grocery, nakikita mo na parang nakakana siya, parang end game na kagad, it's already a byproduct. However, when you get something from the nature, for example, like this normal batuan, you'll get it fresh, pero once you process it, of course, you boil it, yun yung madalas na ginagawa dito, and then when you sip it, you can use the liquid, and then the solid part, you can do another byproduct rather than throwing it away. In our part, medyo like right now, Western Visayas yung medyo ina-highlight namin here in our Agimat bar. Yun yung ginagamit namin, yung mga trimmings nun. We use different technology to embrace that change. So behind me is dehydrator yan. Madalas namin ginagamit for byproducts. I have brought evaporator here for another unparalleled type of liquid. So yun, parang yung foraging is whenever you go out and get all the time, you can do that. So you can commission different, like me in our experience, we commission different farmers and different producers, kahit na nga hindi farmers. So per se, example like me, I always hunt indigenous ingredients to represent. And then one of those is like the slow food movement has this called Art of Tasting, wherein we're listing all the all the indigenous ingredients that might be gone. It's kind of like the Ark of Pigs is more likely kind of like Noah's Ark. So we're trying to archive different type of ingredients, seeds and everything that might be gone forever. So kami naman as a chef and as a byproduct maker, we're trying to come up with more exciting ways to do that. Kasi traditionally, a lot of people knows how to use that already. Pero trying to come up with something, creating a cocktail, creating a mocktail, juice, beverage, and then even food for all of those is another thing. Para at least people nowadays can really enjoy that. So yeah, that's the beauty of the whole foraging thing. And that's why I named the concept Agimat Foraging Bar. Kasi when I started foraging, it was like, actually, when we were conceptualizing Green Pastures by Chef Robbie, yun yung time na parang we went out in an unbeaten path. Nag-travel lang kami ni Chef Robbie and then nakakita na kami ng mga iba't ibang ingredients along the way. Yun na yung parang kasi during the time we're really researching for an organic scene here in our country, which back then wala naman nagko-commission kung organic. And then we found out everything by default is organic. Kasi nakita namin may mga small farmers na tipong yun lang yung tanim nila, can't even afford any fertilizer, which is a good thing. We just have to consolidate at that time na kailangan lang namin na, sige, may 5 kilo ka, may 2 kilos ka, and all. So yun nga, we created demands for that one. And then ngayon, Green Pastures is being successful into that aspect. Kaya nung nagkaroon ako ng bar, kasi that's when I went on my own way to really have my own bar, I envision na parang magiging ganon. It's like a bar na parang what should be a bar of a Filipino kung wala tayong thinking ng any other type of bar. So yun nga. So really representing the ingredients. So yeah, I think that answers the question about what foraging was all about. Miss Lauren.
Very good. Where do you source your supplies? Pinipili mo ba yung mga organic farms? You make sure na ang carbon footprint hindi malayo galing at you ensure na ang ginagamit nila ay organic fertilizers. Nakita ko kanina meron kang ginger, meron kang lemon. Maganda yung mga litrato. Many of the things that you showed, I actually plant in my little just home garden or farm. So, meron ka bang listahan ng iyong mga pinagkukuhanan ng iyong ginagamit sa iyong mga liquid drinks, beverages at mga pagkain? At nasaan ba yung Agimat Bar at malapit ba dyan ang mga farms na kinukuhanan mo ng iyong mga ginagawang pagkain?
So yeah, that's a good question, Deputy Speaker. So Agimat Foraging Bar is like more likely highlighting Madam po ano yung province kasi the menu change every 6 months. Me and my team, Chef Nino Laos is my partner here in Agimat. He owns Nino Fusion. And then patay mo na yung ginagawa sa baba. So ayun na. Highlight kami ng province. Depends on the travel. So per se, when we started Agimat before, the first province that came into my mind is yung favorite ng mga chef dito sa Manila, which is very near, Batangas. So we highlight the menu in the ingredients of Batangas. And then the next 6 months, nagpunta naman kami ng Far North. So yung north namin is Ilocos, Mountain Province. So we research all the ingredients and culture of that one para maging menu namin. And pre-pandemic times na, yung Western Visayas naman, we went to Negros. So that's where we get all the, which I'm going to be doing a demo if the time permits me. So meron tayong Padres doon, so included in Art of Taste. We have Batuan, we have what we call this, libas fruit, and then yung kakao. So magdidepende doon sa mismong province yung magiging menu. And then the other thing is, yung mismo mga purchaser namin, aral sila on how to really deal with farmers. Kasi normally, when we deal, the challenge is that every time you deal with some unorthodox ingredients, they say, hindi kasi siya yung farm ingredients, wala masyado talaga nagtatanim yan. So you really have to go the extra mile to really deal with them. So they will project kung kailan sila magkakaroon ng 5 kilo, 10 kilo. So, on our end, yung purchaser namin, sila na yung parang kukuha sa bus station, maybe loan in in the airport every day. Tapos yun yung pinaka-challenge part na dealing with them kasi hindi siya yung katulad ng normal stocks ng restaurant na you know the supplier, you know na lahat i-deliver sa'yo. So, yun yung pero that's the exciting part every time na meron kang makikitang bagay na magiging product and then yun nga parang and then on our end naman to make it more likely there's a shelf life na may extend kasi normally when ingredients come medyo yung shelf life nun hindi ganun kabilis. So you have to strategize kasi sometimes yung batuan, when you get it, lalo na indigenous, there's a season meron lang season yung iba't ibang fruits and non-vegetable. You really have to strategize on how to make a good byproduct. So one of those, my favorite is fermentation. As you can see a lot in my background, there's a lot of fermentation. I call it the buhay section. And then there's also infusion. So part of this one is like infusion. This is the fruit of libas. Bihira siya makita. So in-infuse siya. And then the other one is like distilling. You use different technology. Like I have a distillery here, and then I also have a water evaporator. Yun yung way. Tapos sometimes I do pickling, and then yun yung mga ways para how to extend. Kasi sometimes the ingredients is already there, pero liberating it from its natural state, dun yung tipong magiging challenging sa'yo kung paano. So yun yung nakikita ko dabang ways na since we're doing that, doon ko nakikita yung pasok ng zero waste management. Kasi, like for example, as simple as this kadyo, every time I'm processing, normally they use it for Negros dishes, KBL. So, yun yung parang dish nila doon with pork and this one. So, pero what I do is like this one, I toast this, and then after I toast it, I have to boil it. When I boil it, I'll blend it and then infuse it in a syrup. So pwede na siya maging kadyo syrup. The byproduct is like this one. So like yung pinatapon pag sinala ko na, I get the liquid, but since we have a technology dehydrator, I can always dehydrate it and put it as a garnish, or maybe model this again and then make a powder out of this one. So eto, wala na siyang tapon kasi lahat ng halos from nose to tail na gamit natin. So yun, but you just have to be open and really embracing different type of technology to like that. One of those as well is like, since I research a lot of stuff kung ano yung mga gamit ko, I created a product. So even the spirits that I use is from our country, Negros, Ethanol Spirit. So I also come up with a gin that has some ingredients that's really exciting in our country. Tapos, this is really going to be available in the shelves soon. Some of my products is already in the market. So, isa din way na parang how to make your brand a little sexy. Kasi when you talk about agriculture and farming, sometimes you really have to target a different demographic. And then targeting a demographic like yung mga youngsters, mga yuppies and all, lalo na yung mga go-getters na yun, they love to experiment. And then trying to come up something artistic and more sexy, you got their attention instantly. So that's for me. That's why I coined the term like trying to make the agriculture scene a little sexy. So yun yung pinaka-way para on how to, you have to create demands, you have to really train your team on how to deal with not a traditional farmer, just a producer. And then you just have to be creative in really doing a lot of byproducts. Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you. So we can see that you work with the local farmers and you use even low technology, indigenous knowledge para gamitin lahat mula sa mga hindi ordinaryong mga prutas o mga gulay at walang sayang, di ba? And I assume that you also save your seeds para maitanim pagkatapos niyan, hindi ba? And I hope that in Agimat Cafe, you can explain what you're explaining to us now. Dahil pag may nagpupunta dyan, umiinom or kinakain, whatever, and you can explain to them the idea and the lifestyle of slow living. It would be good to have labels in what you're doing, using not plastic waste, but to innovate on recycled paper, perhaps, on the importance of, let's say, batuan, of local food, of sourcing, and doing your products based on this locally sourced food. So thank you so much. We now go to a conservationist who's into tourism development and who's also into slow food. So we have Chef Waya. Can we have you here, please? Interesting because you are into conservation of the environment. And environment conservation is clearly interlinked with tourism because
Yes.
what kind of tourism, domestic or foreign, will we have if our rivers are dirty and our seas are full of plastics and our mountains are bald, right? And if our
True.
air is not clean? Very good. So I'm also glad that you're into education because when you conserve the environment and you can teach it and you apply it in tourism development. So tell us about from Agimat, we go to Gypsy. So Gourmet Gypsy Art Cafe and Open Hand School. And it's great that you teach vocational technical schooling for young adults with special needs. Tell us more about all of these things you do, inclusive employment. That's really great. Chef Waya.
Good morning, Senator Lauren Legarda. Thank
Hi.
you for having us here today. So today I'm going to tell you the story of Gourmet Gypsy, or ang subtitle namin, How to Open a Restaurant with No Money. So when we decided to open Gourmet Gypsy, it was going to be a laboratory nung school namin, Open Hand School. So our school then was 3 years old. We wanted to come up with a restaurant kung saan pwede namin testingin kung yung tinuturo namin sa kanila sa vocational school ay nag-work sa real life. So we wanted to be able to employ them as interns and later on as full-time employees. But again, as you know, you have advocacies, we have a lot of advocacies, there's so many things we want to do, but our resources are always limited. So I fell back on my upbringing as a, growing up in an Ilocano household. My grandmother was a paragon of frugality and sensibility. So yung mga natutunan ko bilang isang Ilocana, yun yung ginamit naming prinsipyo sa pagtatayo ng restaurant. So restaurants and hotels are notorious trash generators. Grabe tayo mag-consume, maigsi ang lifespan. So napakaraming equipment at materials na natatapon. So yun yung mga bagay na gusto namin maiwasan. So syempre, we fall back on the 3 R's na yan naman ang tinuro sa atin mula sa elementary, diba? So ano ba itong 3 R's na to na reduce, reuse, recycle? Paano namin to in-apply sa paggagawa ng aming restaurant? So una, since gagawa ka ng restaurant, ang una mong titingnan yung menu. So, kailangan, para matipid, di ba, i-reduce mo yung number of ingredients na kailangan mong gamitin. At lahat ng ingredients na meron ka, magamit mo sa iba't ibang recipe para walang aksaya. So, yun nga yung sinasabi. Kunyari, bumili kami ng salmon, isang buong fish. We use the steaks for our main course, for our entrees. Yung buntot, gagawin namin gravlax. Yung bones at saka yung head, gagawin namin chowder. Pag bumili kami ng buong mga pork belly, yung good cuts, gagawin namin porchetta. The rib meat goes to pulled pork. Odd cuts go to sausages. Yung skin magiging chicharon. So lahat gagamitin. So itong photo na to, for example, one of our most popular desserts is creme brulee. So dahil gumagawa kami ng creme brulee, napakarami naming egg white. So yung egg white, ginagawa namin pavlova. Tapos maski pag niluto namin yung pavlova na gumagamit ng leftover egg whites lamang, iluluto namin siya sa brick oven, nilalagay namin sa gabi, pagpatay na yung brick oven. So maski yung pagluto ng pavlova namin ay recycled heat lang, galing sa heat ng bricks na patay na. So we pull it out in the morning. So even the residual heat is recycled in our restaurant to cook our pavlovas. So again, ayan, yung lahat ng buto-buto, ginagawa namin stock, ginagawa namin mga trimming ng roast, lahat sinisave yan para panggawa ng mga sabaw na ginagawa namin sa restaurant. Tapos isa ring nakita namin, siguro mga 2016, napansin ko, yung mga plato pag binabas out, yung kanin halos walang bawas or yung mga sides na starch ng mga pagkain namin, halos walang bawas. So sabi ko, bakit nagkakaganito? Hindi ko kayang magtapo ng... Nung bata kami, pinapalo kami ng lolo namin pag di ka nag-ubos ng kanin. Eh. So parang hindi ko kayang magtapo ng kanin. So from that observation, I decided to remove all the starch sides from our menus. So customers can decide ano yung gusto mong siding. Gusto mo ba ng gulay? Gusto mo ng holy rice? Yung kanin mo, gusto mo ba black, brown, red, or white? Gaano karami? Ganyan. Para maiwasan yung napakaraming sinasayang at tinatapon lang. So, isa yan sa mga, one of the major changes in our menu was gawin siyang mas customizable in terms of yung diet ng customer para maiwasan yung tapon ng tapon. Okay. Tapos, maski nung araw pa, sa catering, even before Gourmet Gypsy and my old restaurant, Kista Cook, I've never used styro in any of my businesses. In-eliminate namin ng plastic straws in 2014. Hindi na kami gumagamit ng plastic straws. Hindi kami gumagamit ng plastic spoons and forks, ng individually packaged condiments, mga plastic bag, maski sa take-out, saka mga non-reusable food packaging. So isa yan sa mga commitments that we started when we opened the restaurant in 2014. So, ang isa ring, dahil nga wala kaming perang magtatayo ng restaurant, we had to reuse a lot of things. So, yung tatay ko po ay sculptor, si Jerry Araos. So, yung kanyang medium ay kahoy na mga kinuha galing sa mga lumang bahay, sa mga lahat, salvaging from everywhere. So, isa yan sa mga natutunan ko na kailangan mag-reuse ka ng mga bagay. Yung basura ng isang tao, pwedeng kayamanan ng iba. Sinasabi ko nga lagi, ukay-ukay is a political act. Kumukuha ka ng bagay na itatapon na ng ibang tao at gagawin mong mas maganda, bibigyan mo ng bagong buhay. So, ang Gourmet Gypsy ay tinayo mula sa ukay-ukay sa HMR, sa OLX. Buti nga kayo may Facebook Marketplace na madali nang bumili ng mga second-hand na bagay. Pero isa yan sa mga bagay na paborito kong gawin ay mag-ukay-ukay. So, kung makita niyo yung pictures ng Gourmet Gypsy, yung mga ginamit namin dito, mga kahoy, ay panay mga ni-recover namin galing dun sa beams. Nagpalit kami ng bubong ng building. So lahat ng beams galing sa bubong, ginawa namin mga pinto, mga lamesa, yung mga plato, binibili namin sa mga Japan ukay-ukay, mga kubyertos nakuha namin galing dun sa kasabay na nung nagsara ang Mandarin. So, nakipagbalyahan kami para bumili sa HMR ng mga kubyertos ng Mandarin Hotel. So, very conscious din kami sa paggamit ng mga pag-reuse ng mga bagay-bagay. So, maski yung kunyari, yung mga pang-print namin ng mga menus, ng mga we always use both sides. Pag nagamit na yung both sides, shredding para sa packing material ng mga glassware. Ang Ziploc bag, parchment paper, at aluminum foil, nire-reuse namin yan lahat. Baski nung yung construction, ginamit namin yung mga lumang kahoy na na-recover namin galing dun sa building to make our doors. We reuse unsold bread for breadcrumbs, crostini, mga ganyan. Yung mga old tablecloths, lahat yan ginugupit para maging basahan. So hanggat maaari, hindi talaga kami nagtatapon ng bagay-bagay. Tapos, yung mga unusable food scraps, nire-recycle namin into compost. Pinapakain sa worms, sinahalo sa at yung vermicast, sinahalo namin dun sa abo galing sa brick oven as fertilizer. Meron din akong mga kumukuha sa amin ng food scraps. So, yung mga hindi namin kayang i-recycle na kami mismo, pinamimigay namin sa iba. So, meron akong doktora na napakahilig magtanim, yung aking OBGYN, mahilig magtanim. Pumupunta yan para kunin yung vegetable scraps ko from the restaurant at ginagawa niyang compost para sa kanyang urban garden. And in exchange, nagbabarter kami, yung mga tanim niyang kamatis, binibili ko rin, mga arugula, mga ganyan. So, or binibigay niya sa akin ng libre. Okay. Ang mahalaga, if you go into recycling, ay kailangan kasali mo at on board lahat ng staff mo at employees. At kailangan meron silang incentives para gawin yon. Okay? Sorting, reusing, recycling, ay dagdag na trabaho talaga para sa lahat. So, kailangan may incentive yung mga employees mo para gawin to, para maging successful kayo sa paggawa nito. So, sa Gourmet Gypsy, lahat ng income from selling used oil, pig slop, recyclables, is put in the centralized tip fund. So, yung mga empleyado namin, alam nilang may benepisyo silang nakukuha from that. So, para mataas yung compliance sa mga tao dun sa polisiya nyo ng recycling. So, yan. So, beyond the 3 Rs, kailangan syempre, enhin natin yung pagtitipid ng kuryente, ng fuel, at saka ng tubig. So, paggamit ng low-flow faucets, water-efficient toilets, LED light bulbs, wag masyadong overcooled yung restaurant. So, karamihan pag pumasok ka, sobrang lamig, diba, ng mga restaurant. So, sa amin, we maintain it at around 25 degrees, which is comfortable, but not too hot that you use too much electricity, not too cold. So, also, hindi kami halos gumagamit ng high-pressure na stove kasi I find that it's a real waste of fuel. So, halos lahat ng recipes namin is designed kasi mostly naman kami mga slow cooking ang aming mga ginagawa. So, halos hindi kami gumagamit ng high pressure stove. So, yan. Tapos also buy local and in bulk as much as possible. So, sa kaliwang picture, makikita mo yan yung kamatis ng aking doktora na sinusuplayan ko ng compost, ng materials for her compost. So, binibili ko rin yung kamatis niya. And also, I support a lot of the programs like Rural Rising and Uma Farms who buy from farmers at fair prices. So, bumibili kami in bulk, pinaprocess namin. Sa pag-uso ang kamatis, for example, we make marinara sauce and bottle it. Nung nagkaroon ng glut ng yellow bell peppers from Bukidnon, so namili rin kami ng marami, ginawa namin bell pepper jam. Nung napakaraming wombok, gumawa kami ng napakaraming kimchi. So, ginagawa namin ng paraan para ma-preserve ito at mabilhan yung mga farmers at fair prices. Lalo na ngayong pandemya na ang daming farmers na nangailangan dahil hindi nila madala yung produce sila to market. So also beyond the 3 Rs is you have to use your platform to make a difference in the community. So sa Gourmet Gypsy, ang aming advocacy is to provide a venue for inclusive employment. So from this, yung mga training namin ng mga estudyante galing sa Open Hand School, binibigyan namin sila ng pagkakataon para magkaroon ng meaningful paid work in Gourmet Gypsy. So yung pinag-uusapan nating sustainability, dapat lumampas tayo bilang buzzword yung sustainability. Ang daming nagsasabi niyan. Kasi it requires mindfulness, consideration for others, our environment, and the communities we interact with. So sa akin, ang dyan is balikan mo yung values mo. Paano kang pinalaki, ano yung mga tinuro sa'yo ng mga magulang mo, ng mga lolo't lola mo. Kasi it takes a lot of work and commitment. But it's the kind of effort that makes our world a better place to live in. So maraming salamat po.
Wow! Amazing! Chef Waya, I'm so glad that I met you now virtually and sana hindi pandemic, sana wala ng COVID, although may outdoor space ka sa Quezon City. Just like Agimat Cafe, which is in Poblacion, and you're in Quezon City, you're in Metro Manila, but you bring the soul of my loss and my life into your work. First, conservation of the environment. As you know, that's been my lifelong work and all my 8 environmental laws. You actually live it. Hooray! Number 2, as an educator, you're able to communicate it better than me because you're doing it. Now, hooray! Number 3, yung sustainability and the circular economy, the bills that I filed, you're doing it. So, can I ask you to have a Zoom like this with the Restaurant Association of the Philippines, the restaurant industry? I filed a bill for incentives during this pandemic for restaurants who have been adversely affected, as you know, by COVID-19. It would also be good to innovate, not just the kitchen or their interiors, exteriors, etc., innovate their lifestyle and way of thinking so that the 3 R's that you mentioned in my RA 9003 question, alam mo ba na meron akong batas since 2001 o talagang nasa puso mo at ginagawa mo long before a law was enacted? I want to know, just like Barangay Holy Spirit in Quezon City, 1997 pa, nag-segregate na sila. I wrote the law in 98 and napasa ko as a young senator in 2001. Because you're into education and environment and you are the daughter of Jerry Araos, he was my friend. Yeah. I used to go, you may not know it, nagpupunta ako sa sculpture garden ni Jerry na open air kung saan siya nakatira, hindi ba?
Dito po ako ngayon.
O see? Yes.
Asan yung garden niya? Ayan.
Hindi, open air yung kay Jerry. Open air.
Huh?
I even had, when I was in television, nagkaroon ako, I'll send it to you, nagkaroon ako ng episode on Jerry Araos and his garden.
I'll show you his garden now.
Yes. And ginawa, we will do gardens later on. At ginawa ni Jerry Araos ang garden, may jungle garden siyang ginawa sa Maynila. Sino yung ginawa niya ng jungle garden sa Maynila? Ayan.
Ayan po ang garden niya sa Antipolo. Baka dito kayo nagpunta.
Diyan ako nagpunta. At
Apo.
na-interview ko si Jerry.
Apo.
Yes. I will send you the video of Jerry. And we will do in a future episode of Stories for a Better Normal, gardens as living spaces. Not manicured gardens, but gardens of sustainability. But answer me. So when did you start doing not just Gypsy Art Cafe, but your lifestyle of sustainability, of reduce, recycle, and reuse, and actually doing the circular economy? And it's
again, ayun, sa pagpapalaki po talaga yan eh. Kaya laging sinasabi ko, pag nagpapalaki kayo ng anak nyo sa pamilya nyo, dapat dun nyo inuumpisahan.
Yes.
Hindi siya, di ba? Mahalaga yung batas, pero mas mahalaga rin siguro yung pagpapalaki nyo sa bahay, yung practice sa bahay. Because that's what really sticks. Because you do it because you've learned it, not because you have to, because there's a law.
Very good. Yes.
Diba? Yes. So, yun yung, so kailangan talaga yung pagtuturo natin, mag-umpisa sa pamilya, sa bahay. Kasi sa akin, yan ang nagdala, di ba, na takot ko lang sa lola at lolo ko.
Okay. Siguro kasi ang nagpalaki sa akin din, Ilocana, si nanay ko, Ilocanang taga-Paway, Ilocos Norte, napaka-stricto. Hanggang sa aking damit. Anyway, so I'd like you to tell people, and those with micro-enterprises, with small businesses, small farms, small restaurants, bars, any micro-enterprises, kumikita ba? At ito ba ay worthwhile na gawin pag tayo ay maghihiwalay ng basura sa nabubulok, hindi nabubulok, pag tayo ay gagawa ng organic compost mula sa food waste, pag tayo ay magtitipid sa paggagamit ng papel na baliktaran, na tayo ay gagawa ng common fund para sa mga staff, para magka-incentive, that's a good idea. So, instead, sabihin nila, ang hirap naman, sanay na kami na may plastic, sanay na kami sa bottled water, ang hirap naman na ganito. So, tell us and convince those who are not yet in our lifestyle na ito'y sulit na kayang gawin. Ayan. Teacher ka kaya mo yun.
So, ang dyan is kailangan hindi yung kita yung pag-isipan mo eh. Diba? Ang kailangan mong pag-isipan at ay kalusugan ng ating mundo at ng future generations. So, kumbaga, puhunan ito para sa kinabukasan. Hindi ito puhunan para enjoyin mo ngayon. 'Di ba? Anong klaseng mundong iwanan mo sa anak mo, sa apo mo? 'Di ba? Kung sila magiging unhealthy, mas malaking gastos 'yun para sa kinabukasan. So, dapat yun yung mindset na kailangan mong isipin. Hindi ito for today. 'Di ba? Hindi mo pwedeng ma-enjoy mo yung kita. May hirap talaga, 'di ba? Mas like you have to remind your staff every day, mas hindi ganun kasimple, 'di ba? Mas may trabaho. Pero yun nga, hindi to para ngayon eh. Para sa kinabukasan natin to. So kailangan puhunan 'yan na pinupundan.
Very good. Pero sigurado naman you're not losing money. Ibig sabihin, ang gusto ko lang
hindi naman siya nawawa, hindi ka lugi.
Hindi ka
Diba?
lugi. Importante.
Kasi nagtitipid ka nga eh. Kaya nga namin ito ginawa dahil wala kaming pera eh. Diba?
Okay.
So,
maganda yung sinabi mo. Maaring magsimula ng negosyo na hindi magarbo o mag-utang sa bangko or malaki ang minana mo or malaki ang pera mo. Maaring magsimula ng negosyo sa kabuuan ng loob at maraming ideya at gagamitin ang zero waste innovation sa pag-iisip at paggagawa. That's really great, and I hope that you can do a simple 5-minuter. We can upload all your art cards you can put together that small businesses can follow suit. What Agimat, what Gypsy are doing. I hope to visit you soon. Your father's garden is in Antipolo, but your zero waste restaurant is in Quezon City, correct?
Yes po.
At meron kayong open space and you are open during pandemic, right?
Yes po. We're open for private dining.
Very good. Thank you so much. From Agimat to Gypsy, we go to Sima. Tell us, Chef Robbie Goko, how do you implement slow food? How did you research and foraged, just like our mixology expert earlier, with ingredients all over the country and innovated for your restaurants where you implement, hopefully, ecological solid waste management. Thank you so much, Chef Waya, and yes, I hope to collaborate with you in other measures later on. Hi, Robbie.
Yeah. Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Very clear.
Yeah, okay. Good morning. You know, number one, I have my concepts. I have Sima and Green Pastures and Suv. Now, let's talk about Sima. I know Sima is Greek, right? But then again, Greece is an archipelago like the Philippines. Did you know that most of the ingredients that they're growing in Greece grows in the Philippines, right? So that's the reason also why I opened my first Greek restaurant in Boracay, because I knew hindi ko na kailangan mag-import pa ng maraming ingredients para mag-open ng Greek food sa Pilipinas, kasi napaka-common eh. Madami silang common ingredients, no? Now, with Green Pastures, ito yung aking farm to table. You know, ang storya nito ay napakarami kong supplier or farmers na lumapit sa akin during the time when I was putting up Sima. And, you know, kailangan kong gumawa ng, ang isang dish ay wala sa Greek pantry or wala sa Greek cuisine, kailangan kong gumawa ng nilalagay ko siya sa isang kahon na siniseparate ko, kasi hindi ko naman pwedeng i-serve yan sa isang Greek restaurant. Eh. So there are things, let's say, like kimchi that I have to make, right? Or dishes that is not available in the Greek cuisine. So, you know, nilalagay ko lang siya sa isang kahon. So, you know, through the years, nakaipon ako ng maraming dishes, di ba? And ang dami kong farmers na nakakausap at willing magtanim, willing mag-supply, at willing mag-gamble and nag-risk na parang ini-encourage ko kasi sila mag-grow ng ingredients na kailangan ko. You know, itong pinag-uusapan nating nose to tail, farm to fork, 'di ba? Itong seed to plate. Ang Philippine cuisine kasi dati pang tayong ganyan na. In fact, the famous chef from Europe, no, si Fergus Henderson, who coined what you call nose to tail, matagal na ang Pilipinas na ganito ang ginagawa. In fact, our cuisine is thriving on nose to tail cooking, right? In short, itong nose to tail, walang tapon. Let's say in Davao, we have what you call buntot, yung laman loob ng tuna, niluluto yan. Ang magagandang parts lang ang ini-export, ang natitira sa atin, yun yung ayun yung tinatawag mong the unpopular cuts. So, if you look at Ilocano cuisine, ganun din. They rely more on the unpopular cuts, yung mga innards, yung mga offals, right? Sisig is an example of a dish wherein ang ginagamit yung ulo, yung cheek, saka yung nguso ng baka. So, I mean, walang tapon talaga, right? Ang farm to fork naman kung tawagin nila, ngayon kasi ang problema ay ang Pilipinas, ang mga Pilipino mahilig, we like looking outwards. We don't look towards what we have, right? You know, yung bahay kubo vegetables, wow, that will beat any arugula or any zucchini, right? I mean, right now I'm cooking with local patola, with all these beautiful local ingredients, right? I mean, ang problema kasi is we keep on looking outwards, diba? And we forgot to look, or pinabaliwala natin yung meron tayo. Kasi sabi natin, ay, pang mahirap lang yan, para sa palengke lang, at hindi sa social kung tawagin, right? So, I mean, whereas in the whole world is looking at what we're growing and what we're doing, tayo naman, mahilig tayo because we embraced commercialization. Ang hilig natin tumingin palabas. Ang gusto natin yung mga Wagyu steaks, ang gusto natin yung mga imported na gamit. Pero nandito lahat We actually were sitting on a gold mine in the Philippines. It's just that we failed to recognize them as something that's gold, right? Kala natin pang mahirap lang. Ay, pang lutong bahay lang yan. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to really work with local growers, local farmers, and try to promote cook delicious food with what we have here. Go local. I mean, and elevate it. Ang kagandahan yan ay walang sayang, mura, of course, diba? And you can, and it's very unique to us, diba? So now, ang isa pang maganda kasi sa atin is yung seasons natin, right? Hindi tayo natuto mag-pickle or mag-preserve ng pagkain because here sa atin, everything grows, right? So ang problema, pagka dumating yung panahon na meron tayong oversupply, ang nangyayari, instead of us using the particular product, let's say the tomatoes, hindi natin siya ma-turn into something, let's say we don't know how to pickle, to bottle, to preserve, right? Ang actually alam ko lang na pine-preserve locally is atsara, right? So ano yan ang dami pa natin kailangan gawin dahil ang natin ay hindi tayo nakakapag-preserve at pickle ng mga produkto. Now, let's talk about kung gaano karami ang tinatapon mo at kung paano pagkakitaan ang isang bagay sa restaurant. Let's talk about, yung unang slide ko, I want to show it to you guys. This is my very first slide. Hello. My first slide, di ba? If you think about it, ang presyo ng isang carrot, di ba, ay let's say 80 pesos. Ngayon, pagka binalatan na yan ng isang cook mo at ang ginamit lang kutsilyo at hindi gumamit lang peeler, mas malaki ang tinatapon niya, right? Now, yung carrot na yan dahil meron kang usable, nagmamahal na yan to 88 pesos if you process it properly. Now, if you don't process it properly, umaangat siya ng 114 pesos. So, napaka-importante na gumamit ng tamang makinarya para sa pag-process ng isang ingredient, para at least wala kang tapon, right? Now, anong gagawin mo naman doon sa mga balat? So, we use it for the stocks. In fact, sometimes we puree it. Sometimes we preserve it, right? Now, on my next slide, I'll tell you, sa isang back of the house, di ba? Kailangan mo, meron kaming tinatawag na 5 pamamaraan para mag-operate ng mga ayos. Of course, number 1 is order ka ng tamang amount lang para sa kailangan mo sa inventory mo for 3 days, di ba? Now, we talk to our farmers na ini-schedule namin kung ano yung mga tanim nila para ito lang ang marireceive namin at ito lang ang gagamitin namin. Now, pag-receive namin ng produkto, ito, kailangan nasa standards namin. So what we do is when we receive it, we only use yung magagamit namin. Tapos yung hindi, we create a dish for it. Mamaya, I'll kikwento ko sa inyo. Yung watercress kung tawagin, di ba? So we don't actually throw anything away. We just have to put it in our system. Now, importante, of course, you invest on good equipment because alam mo, in order for us to sell at a amount na gusto namin, there has to be excellence pa rin in what we do. So, in fact, I know it's a farm to table na medyo parang yung mga puro pwede na yan. We still encourage our farmers to be excellent in what they do. Hindi naman pwede na lagi na lang pangit o lagi na lang organic na parang minsan hindi na mukhang it's not anymore fit for human consumption. Hindi naman yung itsura lang So we really encourage them to be excellent in what they do. Now, number 4, make it to recipe. Everything that we have in the store is put on recipe. Lauren, I have over 12 restaurants and up to now, wala akong commissary. Everything is run by kitchen managers and by chefs. I know, actually, in fact, pag napigil lang nung pandemic, dapat by now I should already have about 20 restaurants. And I have, in fact, 2 restaurants na naipit nung we were supposed to open March. Yun yung height nung lockdown. So up to now, it's still closed. Hindi pa namin mabuksan-buksan. So I'm proud to say, even with 12 restaurants, we don't operate a commissary. Everything is recipe-based, chef-based. So what you're paying for quality food that's never frozen. So everything is done in store. And of course, yung 5th one is when you cook it, it's always fresh, diba? Hindi namin pinapatay, hindi namin yan pinababayaan na maluma na lang basta-basta. Right? Now, I'll give you examples of our dishes na walang tapon. Next slide, please. Next slide. Now, this is for sima, no? We have what you call the tenderloin, right? Ito yung magandang part ng karne. Yung mga medyo hindi na masyadong magandang part, we turn it into what we call the souvlaki. And then yung pinaka-maliliit na lang, we don't throw it away or we grind it into a product that we can use for our ground meat products such as the moussakas and the meatballs, right? And then the next one. See, you have to be creative I mean, the pork shoulder. Ito yung pagka hindi mo hindi mo na kailangan tulad ng skin, it goes into a stew, right? And then the best cuts and then the bones goes into stock, right? Next slide. Next slide. Salmon. I'll give you an example. The premium, the quality, yung magagandang parte ng salmon goes into our entree. Now, the skin, the belly, and yung not so, instead of you throwing it away, we created the dish na yung salmon pasta namin na became very, very popular that we have to get now whole salmons just to service this dish. And then now the head, wala naman kaming menu na ginagamitan yung ulo, di ba? So that one, we feed na lang the head. We create naman dishes naman for our employees. Kasi, I mean, this is our favorite. In fact, we have salmon heads like once a week. Diba? Kasi doon na namin naiipon lahat ng ulo. At ayun, that's what we feed, that's what we eat naman in our family table, in our restaurant, right? So the next one, ito yung sinasabi ko, ito yung watercress. We came out with a salad called the watercress salad, which was so popular. Napakasikat na salad to in Sima. Ang problema, pag dinideliver yung watercress, 60% lang yung nagagamit mo. Yung 40% yung hindi na siya masyadong maganda, hindi na masyadong green, hindi mo naman lagay sa salad. What we did with that is we cooked it, we pureed it, and turned it into a watercress soup, and instantly became our most popular soup. Now, instead of yung yun nga, yung tinatawag mong cross-utilization and nagagamit mo lahat, sa sobrang nagiging popular na siya, now we have to order just for that. In fact, sinasabi na namin sa mga supplier, yung mga naluluma mo ng watercress, deliver mo na lang sa amin, tapos tapos we'll turn it into soup, right? So these are very creative ways of playing around with your menu, especially during the pandemic. At least hindi ka nagtatapon. Alam mo, ang pinaka-importante sa lahat ay, as a chef, I have over 12 restaurants. You know, when I go to the restaurants, I check the garbage can. Tini-check ko ang basurahan kung ano ang laman. Kasi pag may nakita ako diyang produkto na hindi dapat nandyan, I call the manager and I tell, why are you not efficiently using your ingredients, right? My secret really is, if I know at the end of the evening, malinis ang basurahan ko, then I know my business is profitable, na hindi ako nagtatapon. Why don't you all check also what you're throwing? Because nandoon ang pera na hindi ka magtatapon at magagamit mo efficiently. Later, I'll show to you guys how to make tomato passata using tomatoes that I got this morning, and they're overripe, diba? Ibig sabihin, hinog na hinog. Why would you throw it away? You know what you do? It's sweet as it is, turn it into sauce. Pero mamaya na yan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chef Robbie. And clearly, just like Agimat, just like Gypsy, and your organic kitchen in your various restaurants, sinusunod nyo ang mga konsepto ng paghihiwalay ng basura, reuse, pag-recycle, at ang magandang takeaway sa'yo, walang sayang, di ba?
Walang sayang.
And sana, I hope many restaurants do that. I know that Cravings Restaurant many years ago, because they were a guest in our ecological solid waste management, also do that. And I hope whether big or small, medium scale, our restaurants also do that. Could you show us, please, paano ginagamit ang tomato, not waste, overripe tomatoes into a tomato paste? Ayan.
Now, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. And after this, yes, very good.
This one, kasi I have I talk to my farmers, sabi namin, anong meron ka? Naku, over demand, oversupply kami nito. So marami. Actually, this came in kanina, 2 kaig, malaki. So I just got a few. What we do is you get the tomato, we boil it. We boil it in water. This has been pre-boiled, right? And then what we do is we remove the skin. Okay? We remove the skin, and then when you remove the skin, papakuluan mo lang to ng mga 30 minutes sa tubig. Tapos i-drain mo na, you remove the skin, tapos when you remove it, you put the tomato on a blender, right? And then very simple. Kasi ang maganda dito yung kamatis mo matamis na. So you put it in a blender, right? Let's say, remember, natanggal ko na yung mga skin nito. So, put it in a blender. And then, you blend it. Once blended already or pulsed, you get your bottles. This has been pre-sanitized, pinakuluan na namin yung mga bottle ito. So, you put it in a bottle, right? And then, akin na yung, ano, yeah. Once you put it in a bottle, right, you add a little bit of sugar, a little lang, because what sugar does here is it will remove the acidity, right? So it will counteract the acidity. You put a little sugar, a little salt, right, for flavor, and then a basil leaf. Basil leaf, right? So you just put it on top, and then you close it, and then you sterilize it. You boil it for about an hour on boiling water, right? You put it on, and then that's it. That you don't need refrigeration. Hindi mo na kailangan ng i-refrigerate. Tapos anytime you can get your tomato instead of you buying yung mga walang lasang process na kamatis na tomato sauce. You have now the freshest and the sweetest tomato puree that you can get. And believe me, when you use this on pasta, or you use this on your caldereta, or you use this on any dish that requires tomato sauce or tomato paste, ibang klase ang iba ang flavor na maibibigay sa inyo. And
ako, magmamadali ako, gagawin ko na yan.
And the best part about it, you can buy yung overripe tomatoes for 10 pesos, or sometimes they give it to you per kilo, and then sometimes they give it to you for free. And ito nga sinasabi ko na parang sayang lang, ang dami nating tinatapon. Yung during the start of the pandemic, I saw na nagtapon na napakadaming kalabasa, di ba? I mean, you can turn kalabasa into chips. Onions na nabubulok in Nueva Ecija, they can turn that into pickled onions. Cucumbers na nabubulok, they can turn that into pickles. Yung mga radishes are turned into kimchi. Napakadami. Yun lang kasi dahil ang kultura natin ay hindi tayo natuto mag-save for winter months. Kasi nga, tumutubo lahat and it's all in abundance. Ang problema, pagka may oversupply tayo, hindi na natin alam ang ginagawa. So, sana matuto tayo lahat mag-preserve, mag-pickle, and para at least, we have something for the rainy day.
Thank you so much. At wala na tayong tapon. Ang ganda. Robbie, could you share with us yung mga simple mong recipe aside from the tomato paste, yung pickles na iba't ibang mga regular para ang mga farmers na maliliit at producers natin sa Antique, sa Nueva Ecija, hanggang sa Cordillera, na hindi makapunta pa ang kanilang mga truck sa Metro Manila o sa ibang mga lugar ay maaring mag-benefit. So we can request that from you.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course. Anything for our farmers, yes.
Very good, very good. And just to let you know, I'm a frustrated farmer of tomatoes. Kasi maganda lahat ng tanim ko, and I think I have a green thumb. Ang kamatis ang nahihirapan ako, pero susubukan ko ulit ang kamatis ko at overripe hindi, gagawin ko yung sinasabi mo. Kasi sabi mo kanina, bumili ng kamatis. Ang dadagdag ko dyan, magtanim ng kamatis. Ayan.
Yes, yung kung meron kang oversupply. Yeah.
Yung may oversupply. Pero, so thank you to all our chefs, our guests. You are chefs, you are environmentalists, you implement ecological solid waste, and you implement already the circular economy. And I hope that we could have a Zoom like this with other restaurants and even farmers and small producers. Thank you so very much. We've exceeded 15 minutes. We will show some photos that I've taken in the past weeks, months, from my own personal experiences. And then we will have to say goodbye for now, but we thank all our ecological guests and restaurateurs and chefs for giving meat and teeth and substance and soul into our environmental laws and giving slow food a real picture in our day-to-day life. Maraming salamat. We show our photos and we have to say goodbye for now. But all the art cards and contacts of all our guests will be here as well. Duro gid nga salamat, palangga ko kamo. We will read our Facebook messages next Thursday. Thank you.